Dumpster Divas, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, well, welcome back to the channel. If you are an audio listener and you want to get in on some of this visual content, do subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/dumpsterdivepod. We are slowly but surely getting some traction over there, and I love it over there. It's really fun. And do make sure to follow me mostly on Threads at the Tom Hamlet. Instagram, I post here and there, but I'm trying to take some time away from that app because it's a weird one. It's a weird one these days. But I'm having fun on YouTube, having fun on Threads, and I am happy to be with y'all today. We got a short little ep. I just wanted to hop on because I know we were down on some content last week while I was away. And I kind of briefly mentioned that I started watching this show, but I wanted to dedicate a whole episode to this new Ladies of London reboot. I loved the ladies. So I shout out to the ladies of Bitch Sesh, Casey Wilson and Danielle Schneider. They got me onto Ladies of London OG back when they were watching it on old Bitch Sesh back in like 2016, 2017. And that's where I kind of fell in love with those ladies. That's where I met Caroline Stanbury. I always forget. And yeah, just the nightmares that were all on that show. I really did enjoy that iteration of the show. So when I heard that it was coming back, I was really excited. And allegedly, we only have a 6-episode season. So I thought it actually might be a nice little quick mini series that we can cover all 6 episodes here on the pod while we get ready for our Atlanta recaps. So we're covering Summer House currently on the pod. I'm going to hit up these 6 episodes of Ladies of London, and then we'll hit up Atlanta once that begins. Speaking of Atlanta, I am going to be doing my best to just chat with Black content creators for Atlanta. I think it's a really missed opportunity to not just be highlighting all the amazing Black Bravoholics out here in the world. So y'all have been coming at me with some amazing recommendations of Bravoholics that I don't regularly chat with. Obviously, our faves, Bravo We're Black, Kendrick Tucker, and Raven from Bitches Better. They'll all be on the show, don't worry. But outside of them, and Taria, she'll be on. Outside of them, keep throwing some new faves that y'all have at me. I would love to highlight just some more amazing, hilarious, insightful Black voices here on YouTube and your podcast platform. So that's kind of our business right here at the top. But once again, we're going to be chatting Ladies of London for these next couple weeks as we're in kind of an interim period, getting prepped for the Atlanta season 17, 16, 18, whatever season it is. Season I Can't Believe We're Here of Atlanta with K. Michelle. K. Michelle's season of Atlanta, which I'm so excited about. But Ladies of London... y'all really do seem to have some amazing feedback on my accent work. You know, in college, I went to school for musical theater, if you didn't know that. One day you'll hear me sing. One day when I do my live show, I'll do a little number for you. But, you know, I was so bad in accent class because growing up, I had like a probably moderate Texas accent, like not super, super strong, but like in Texas, it wasn't a Texas accent. But then when I went elsewhere, it was a Texas accent. Like I didn't know I had one until I left Texas. So when I went to school, they kind of beat the Texas accent out of me. And so I have this kind of very neutral accent now. Y'all comes in every once in a while, and there are some things here and there that are Texas. And then if I'm around my family a lot, like my extended family, I'll start to go Texas. But I focused so hard on not having an accent in college that when we had our dialect classes, I just couldn't wrap my mind around any of the accents. So when I do my Australian, it's the best I got. I'm trying to... bin Worrell. London, I can't do London. Like, I can do Australian, I realize, better than I can do an English accent. So I'm not going to venture in to RP. That renounced... RP is what they call... like the standard English accent that you do in like a Shakespeare play or something like that. RP is what that's called. We're not going to be practicing our RP while we're doing this coverage of Ladies of London, the New Reign. And sometimes I feel like it's easiest to do accent when you go full like full My Fair Lady like Cockney, like, well, I didn't know that you'd be down in the London town. I understand if you want to turn this off. So actually don't, because I would like the ad dollars because we make money now here on the show. But let's get into it. So Ladies of London, so we had 3 seasons. Now, season 1 of Ladies of London was a little bit of a bust, but then season 2 and 3 really were great. I don't know why they got canceled. Season 2 specifically was like a fantastic season of like that era of Bravo kind of. I call it era 2 of Bravo. Like everything from like 2013 to 2018. I would say it's like era 2. So that's like, we had the beginning of Potomac, the beginning of Dallas, and they were throwing a lot of new content out there. The beginning of Summer House, this was like in the mix of like new content they were throwing out to be in the mix with the girls. So yeah, I loved those first 3 seasons. I really did. I was shocked when they canceled it, but this new cast is spectacular. So let's get into this new group of girls. We have no returning cast members, which I actually really liked this cast mix up. Blink, blink. Cece, Real Houses of New York, which, y'all, they started production on the Golden Age, whatever it's called, the Old Biddy show, Old MAGA Biddies. Old MAGA Biddies is what it should be called. Old MAGA Biddies. Old MAGA Biddies started filming without Jill Zarin, of course, and with the addition of Dorinda Medley, which I hate that for Dorinda. She continues to do things to make me not like her.
Refreshing Wild Cherry Cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
If you're watching the video, you saw me make a face. But back to this cast. So we have Lady Emma Thynn, or Thynn, Thynn. Now, she is a Marchioness of Bath. Now, Marchioness, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but essentially is a very high up, a very high up aristocrat in the caste system, the hierarchy of British society. I don't know if caste system is the right term. Is that offensive? Caste system isn't a positive thing, which I actually don't think. I think there is something really dark-sided about the hierarchy of family lineage in British society. It's cool as a viewer when we're watching it, but then you really think about it and you're like, wait, so like you can't be chic unless you can't be like in the scene unless you are or know someone in this hierarchy. I don't know. There's something gross about it to me. Except for Emma, because she is the first Black Marchioness in British society. I think I'm saying that wrong. Marchioness? Marchioness? I'm saying it wrong. I know I am. Please tell me how to say it. Regardless, she was the first Black aristocrat in British society before Meghan Markle. I mean, Meghan Markle is now no longer. So now Lady Emma is really the only. But because Prince Harry, left the royal family. But even when Meghan Markle had been introduced, Lady Emma was already in the mix. So Lady Emma is the OG Black goddess of the hierarchy, aristocracy in the UK. Lots of words. And she's chic. I love her. She runs a zoo. We made a zoo. What's the book called? We built a zoo. We made a zoo. She's a zoo. She runs a zoo. Cheers to that, as Mary Cosby would say. And I like her. I mean, she is chic. She has an effortless chicness to her. Like she feels very New York to me, honestly. Like everything, it's like almost like you know how Rachel Zoe wears labels, but like you don't know it's a label. You just like assume it's a label because it's Rachel Zoe. That's the vibe Emma gives. It's like easy sophistication. So already obsessed with her. Next we have my personal favorite, Lady Sitwell, aka Martha Sitwell. Now Martha was an aristocrat married into some sort of aristocracy title that made her a lady. And then they had like a chaotic divorce. She was a former model, socialite, turned full Grey Gardens, little Edie, trapped in a tiny ass apartment in East London with a bird. This lady is fantastic. We'll get into it, but in episode 3, she essentially reveals that she gave the keys to her apartment to a stranger in a park who said he's a house painter. And then he never came to paint her house or her apartment. So now someone just has keys to her home. And she doesn't have his phone number. So we have a Sonia Morgan on her hands. She also, there was this quote going around in a magazine where allegedly she's done crack once. I mean, it's crazy. Or maybe she called it. I think she called it. I've done. I don't know. She's done drugs. She's done drugs in the 90s in London with name it. She's done drugs with them, and now she is like she could be 35. She could also be 68. It's kind of a mixed bag. I actually don't even know that I want to know her age because it's more fun to just let her shape shift in front of my eyes. But next we have Micah Meier. I don't know. I didn't realize her last name was Meier. Mika or Micah, I believe it's Micah. She is American, but she is an etiquette expert, which this was a genius casting move on Bravo's part because to us, like etiquette experts are often from the UK. They are a society built on etiquette, built on societal standards. So when you think of etiquette, and the show is filmed in London, you obviously think like very high up, regal British accent, like the RP accent that I was talking about. But no, we have Micah, who is American and went to University of Florida. She kept talking about, I think it was university. It was either like Tampa or University of Florida. She went to college in Florida. The pipeline of University of Florida to London etiquette has one person on it, and it's Micah. I don't think that exists anywhere else from University of Florida. Shout out to Florida if you're out there. Shout out. I can't. Y'all have a lot of things going on. Etiquette is not on the list of things you got going on. So it's a clever casting choice to have her in the mix. And excuse me, trying not to cough. I'm still getting over a cold. She also has a best friend named Dara. Dara is only present for the first 2 episodes because she does end up quitting at the end of episode 2. She is an architect, and there is a storyline around her potentially being a madam, which does feel incredibly race-coded, and I don't like that aspect of it. So automatically, I have a weird taste in my mouth about the woman who started said rumor, and that is Margot. Now, Margot used to be best friends with, well, it still is best friends, but like they seem to have kind of like I feel like this will end in frenemy, but Martha and Margot. By the way, it's called Lady M. Shout out to Bette Midler. Like it's Ladies of M because we have Martha, Micah, Missy, Margot, Mark, Emma, Kimmy. Everyone's got an M except for Lottie. We'll get to Lottie, but let's go back. So the connection. So Micah's friends with this girl, Dara. There was a rumor started by Margot about Dara being a madam. Let's talk about Margot. Margot is an American actress who is famously in this sexually explicit film called 9 Songs. It was a British film where in the film she gets a man, like jerks a man off to completion or blew him to completion. And like, I believe you see jizz. Like it's not made up. And so it was just like this big scandal in London, allegedly. I don't know who this lady is. She's got some weird vibes for me. It's a little too like, I'm finally on reality TV. Like it just doesn't have the right. A lot of these other women are so eccentric and just bringing their honest lives. Her, I can't quite land on if it's like a real version of her or if this is like Margot for reality TV. But in a recent event at the Ladies of London, it was like a Ladies of London brand activation or something in New York City. They had the whole cast in, and Margot said that she was supposed to be on the first season of Southern Charm, which to me is not a flex. I don't think that's a flex. If you've been trying to get into Bravo since Southern Charm, which that premiered, I think, in 2014, Margot, girl. Margot. So I'm not sold on Margot yet. But then next we have Missy. Missy. I say Missy and Missy because her name does have an accent on the end, but it's Missy. So I don't know what that means. But she's a Swedish-Albanian model and former partner of soccer star Andre Lindengard. Shout out to Andre Anders? I don't know. I don't know if I wrote his name down or... Regardless, she has soccer money. Football money. And she's glam. I like her. She's here to stir the pot. She's got a little Mar-a-Lago face, but I'm praying that her spirit doesn't speak that way. But I'm excited to see where she's at. Then we have Lottie Kane. Lottie is a London fashion and nightlife socialite who is pretty much always 10 champagnes in the bag. And we like it. I love it for reality TV. Let's go, Lottie. Now, Lottie is one of those Americans that wants to pretend that she's not American. She's lived in London for I think a very long time. But she doesn't have a full British accent. She kind of has a Dorit British accent. And it's like, girl, Lottie, you are American. Like she kind of sounds like me trying to do a British accent sometimes. So, but she is chaos agent. I think she's going to bring a lot of energy to the show. She had like an on and off again relationship with her ex-husband. And during their separation was when they decided to have a baby. One more time. During their separation was when they decided to have a baby. So a lot to look forward to with Lottie. And then next we have Kimmy Murdoch. Kimmy is a wealthy entrepreneur and socialite, and she is married to a Tim Burton character. You heard that right? I'll say that one more time. She is married to a Tim Burton character. Wait. Sorry, I just said Kimmy. Wait, I'm sorry. Y'all, I just got Lottie and Kimmy mixed up. Why did I do that? Let me take it back. Kimmy is our 10 champagnes in Wake Me Up for Another 20 Champagnes American socialite who is now London, tried to have a baby when they got separated. That is that woman. Lottie is married to a Tim Burton character. Lottie met her husband at The Box in New York City, which even... Weirdly, I feel like The Box, I've talked about The Box so much lately because it's come up on a lot of shows, but The Box, Mia from Summer House used to work at The Box. The Box it's a burlesque strip club sort of, I don't know how you describe it. It's kind of like Amsterdam in New York City. Like you can see people shoot things out of orifices and eat them and do fun, crazy, kooky, X-rated things. Like all the shows are at like 2 a.m. She met Mr. Tim Burton himself there one night, and they just essentially she's like his muse, and they have a very fun kind of like gender fluid relationship. He's like he is a celebrity tailor, which I don't really know what that means necessarily. I mean, you only take celebrity clients to tailor. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing, but maybe it is. He's a celebrity tailor. He also has this like long center part, prospector mustache. but he's British. And they're both British actually, and they've got a fun vibe about it. I love that it's like they're both kind of ladies, and that's what makes them happy. I live for it. And then lastly, we have Mark Francis Vandelli. Now, Mark is our first gay man on a ladies / housewives / female focused show. And I'm excited for it. I do think he lays it on a little thick, but I do think that might just be him. I also know that if you don't know, he was on a show called Made in Chelsea. Made in Chelsea is kind of, excuse me. Made in Chelsea is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like Housewives. It's like younger people, society, London, unscripted reality. Like it's their attempt at like a Bravo show. It does feel a little different than that, but he was on Made in Chelsea, so just so you know who he is and his lore. So he is new. He is not new to reality TV. But yeah, that's our gaggle of Brits, mostly Brits, some Americans. And so episode 1, it all kind of starts with this like garden party that Mark has set up. And once again, through this garden party, the big topic of conversation is that the woman Dara, that Dara is a madam. Once again, I don't think she's an Asian woman, American woman, a woman from America, but also she's Asian American, living in London. And this is calling Asian women madams and or sex workers is a very kind of common and disgusting to me trope in kind of generalizations that happen. And I don't know if these women are all clocking that it's offensive. They don't see, they're all having hee ha ha's about it. It's definitely a little weird. Like, I'm like, would you say this to a white woman? Whenever you're questioning if something is right or wrong, ask yourself, would I say this, if I said this to a white woman and it was normal, why is it not normal now? That's probably what you should ask yourself. And these ladies, they really go all in on this, her being a madam, and it does not sit right with me. I really don't enjoy it. And I'm happy it kind of gets squashed. In the words of Nora from The Reality Is, she said this on Thread. She was like watching it and she was like, does this get better? Because right now it feels a little racist. And then she was like, oh no, Dara does suck. Which she does suck. It could have been a little racist, and Dara also sucks. Two things can be true. But that's one portion of the gossip that's kind of going around. But the other portion is that Dara called Micah tacky behind her back when Missy and Dara were like meeting off camera to get to know each other, get to know the girls that are going to be in the group. Now, this is good. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Drama between pre-existing friends who are trying to duke it out about who's going to be the star of the show. This is the stuff that I get behind. And I did really, really like to see this seed planted. Most of the first episode is just kind of like getting to know who these characters are. We kind of get a lot of flashback scenes to everyone meeting, and there's this brunch scene between Martha and Kimmy and Mark and Margot, and like that group is chaos. And one thing, it's so funny, one thing about British people is I don't know what it is. I don't know if you're just born with this in you, but like they have an ability to throw back liquor like no one I know. It is crazy. Like they can just house like 2 bottles of wine on a Saturday afternoon and then go about the rest of their afternoon just like, oh, darling, don't think that we're just going to go to the salon and read a book before bed. I'm like, if I had 2 bottles of wine, I would be hanging upside down in my kitchen asking for like shots. It's like, at that point, it's like I'm so far in that like we're just going crazy. They're just like, it's another afternoon. I mean, I haven't done that since I was in my 20s, and these ladies are all at least in their 40s, some older than that. But that's the other thing about Brits, and this is gonna sound shady, but you know, the drink can age you, so you never know with the Brits. You never know. You never know the age of the people. You're like, I'm always like, that is the thing with Martha, that I'm like, is it the champagne or are you a stunning 58? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And I actually don't want to look it up. Also, this is sounding kind of rude and judgmental to the Brits. Americans, we have our own slew of issues, so don't worry. Like, I'm happy to go 1-1 with the shit we got going on over here. So we all have our things, but yeah, they just throw it back, and I kind of love it because in America on Housewives, we've kind of lost a bit of the drink on the shows, and I do think there's a trend in America with like a lot less alcohol consumption that's happening with Gen Z right now. I feel a lot of millennials, myself included, aren't drinking like we used to, like, and that is healthy. It is healthy, and I feel good about that as a decision on my end. But as a viewer who sits down on the couch and watches these shows, I'm kind of open to that not entering these shows. I'm open to like the two bottles of champagne a person lunches. That's kind of where we get the drama on these shows. So I'm welcoming their binge drinking at the pubs on Ladies of London. But yeah, the first episode is just introductory. We go over who these people are, which I already did. So let's go into episode 2. So episode 2 is everyone kind of breaking off into smaller groups, and Micah goes over to Dara's house/studio office where she works. And Micah claims that her and Dara have this relationship where they're besties, where Micah calls Dara Bunny. She's like, my bunny from Tampa, Florida. I'm like, my bunny? Bunny? This is a millennial thing, but when I hear bunny, I think of one person, and I need y'all to be with me here. Who do you think of when you hear a person? Think of a person in your brain when you hear bunny. I'll let you think about it for a second. Charlotte's mother-in-law in Sex and the City. That is the only person, or ex-mother-in-law, that I always think of when I hear Bunny, because she was like the demon mother-in-law when Charlotte was getting married to, I'm forgetting his name, the guy from Twin Peaks. It was his mom. So that's what I think of when I hear Bunny. So when I hear Bunny, I don't think of like two young Americans from Tampa, Florida. So, but anyways, Micah calls Dara Bunny, and Dara's like, please stop. But Micah sits down with Dara and tells her about Micah doesn't know yet about her saying Dara saying she was tacky, but Micah tells her about the madam conversation. Dara kind of brushes it off. If the race element wasn't at play here, I do think it would be a lot less serious, to be honest with you, because who is a madam? I mean, like in the era of OnlyFans, there are OnlyFans like producers, I believe, that like manage OnlyFans clients, but like I guess that's the closest thing we have to a madam now, but there's a lot of money in sex work. So I don't think a madam is like on paper a big deal. I think it is racist, but I don't think that it's a big deal in terms of the title if it was a white woman. But the generalization of calling an Asian woman a madam, I'll repeat it again, is just not good. It doesn't feel right. But Dara is kind of like, well, I'm not a madam, so we're just going to pass that off because that sounds dumb as hell. And she says, well, anyways, I'm going to throw a dinner just to get to know all the girls because I didn't get to go to the luncheon. So she gets this dinner with some of her friends and then the Ladies of London New Reign cast. And at this dinner, Missy does confront Dara about the situation that happened off camera, where she says that you called Micah tacky. And that she's like, essentially that there's some sort of competition about who's going to be the star of the show. Like there's a lot of show combos. Like, when in Brian Moylan's book, he talks about how all of the fights on Housewives are about the show. They don't say the show. This is an instance of this fight, this conversation is about the show, and they just can't quite say that. It's clear that Dara said to Missy, like, I bet you it was something like, I got her on this show because we're friends. I have more of a name for myself. She's kind of tacky. She's not society, but she claims she is because she's an etiquette person. And she just talked mad shit about her friend. I'm like, that's so lame. And once again, Micah keeps claiming her and Bunny are besties. Bunny besties. I don't see the bestie energy being reciprocated because I think Dara thinks Micah is corny as hell. And, I think Micah's kind of corny too, but let her be. I'm not her friend. You are. That's you. You chose to be friends with corny Micah. So that's your problem. Don't throw her under the bus for it. You're the one that signed up for that. I don't know. It really is crazy to me. But Micah, so it comes up and Dara is like, what the fuck? I didn't say that. And then she gets up and leaves the table and goes into Video Village where all the producers are watching what's happening back. And she's like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can be on a show like this. This isn't for me. And they're like, why? What's going on? She's like, they're saying things about me that happen off camera. Like, it just doesn't feel right. And the producer is like, well, did you say that? And she's like, yeah, of course I said that. Dara. If for some reason anyone watching this television program, this YouTube program, this podcast program goes onto a reality show, I just want to remind you that if the mic is on your body, you should always assume the mic is hot. So even if the camera isn't on you, the mic is hot. So if there is something you don't want to be heard, you need to do some shenanigans and cover the mic. You need to shake your shirt. You need to covering your mouth doesn't even do it. Because covering your mouth, they can still hear you. You got to manipulate. If you want the mic off, take the mic off. But like, the mic is hot. It's on you. The mic is hot. So we got it. We got the footage of Dara saying, yeah, I said that. And then she goes back to sit down and she announces to the ladies that, hey, ladies of London New Reign, deuces. So she's out. She leaves. But also while she's gone, one of Dara's besties gets into this like not fist fight. I don't know why I just said that. She gets into this verbal altercation with Missy. They're going back and forth, and essentially, I think Missy's like, "Girl, you're not even on this show." I like Missy. She's starting drama. I like to see it. We need some of the domestic housewives, the domestic United States housewives, to take a note from this. 2 episodes in, we have someone activating drama. We have someone quitting the show. We have someone with a bird flying around in her house. We'll get to her in a little bit. We need to spend more time there. I know. We need kooky crazy. We don't need Beverly Hills Housewives sitting around being like, well, did you say that mean thing about me a couple months ago? I'm like, no, what's happening now? What's happening now? So these ladies are bringing it. And so episode 2 ends with such a dramatic, like, editor screen that just says, Dara left the friend group. That night, Dara left the friend group or something like that. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, episode 3. So episode 3, I want to take this opportunity to really dive into the woman of the hour, which is Martha Sitwell. So Martha, once again, I think had just moved either into that unit or just moved back to London to film the show. Unclear about where she was, but she doesn't have a lot of money, it seems. She also is the happy owner of a bird. Now, okay. I want to venture into this carefully because my partner, Brian, loves birds and he grew up with birds. He's a lover of all animals and he really, I think, wants a bird at some point. Now, I do not ever want that in my home. Seeing what Martha's situation is with the bird flying around, I'm like, See, this is not what I want. They're loud. They never just like my dog cries a lot. Not because I do anything, just because he doesn't bark really at all. He just cries when he wants things. But like he sleeps a lot. He's not like running around like. But you know what? Maybe a bird owner would come to my house and be like, whatever this is not for me. To each his own, I guess. But the fact that like Margot comes over to hang out at Martha's house and she wears goggles because like the bird is going to look into her eyeball. And if she makes some sudden movement, the bird might peck her eye out. Like, what? No. What? No. That's a no. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. But she like has this woman come over. She's like, it was a house painter or someone to renovate, an interior decorator. She's like, I only have enough money to do this room. And I'm like, this room is the size of this room. And this room is small as hell. Okay. She's like, this is the room I want to do. But I can't have you go upstairs. She won't let cameramen upstairs. I think it is full, like a, what are the things called? The like heating plates, the hot plates. I feel like she's full Grey Gardens putting a can of beans on a hot plate and getting her toast and having her beans and toast in bed while the bird eats every other bean off her chest. You know, sometimes I like, especially once the edible hits, I like to be horizontal a lot. I mean, you guys see me upright, engaging with you, but I do like to lay flat a lot when I'm watching TV. And I do sometimes like, this wouldn't work, this top, because it is a little bit of a V-neck, but usually if I have a t-shirt or something on, I do sometimes put snacks on my chest because I do call it nature's plate. So I feel like she's nature's plating with beans and toast, and the bird is a part of the nature's plate. Like the bird is involved in nature's plate. Like she is like pecking at the beans. She's like feeding the bird some toast. It's like a whole kind of setup. And I need us to if hoarders buried alive can get up and downstairs in those houses, I need Bravo to figure out how we're going to get cameras upstairs. Okay. I need us to work on that because I need to see what's going on in there. Right now, all we're seeing is this kitchen and this living room that she wants to get redone. Only the living room. But she goes to a storage unit and Margot goes with her and she has like a full breakdown there because she's like talking about her old life. It's very Sonia Morgan where she's like, I'm no longer a society woman. I have no money. She got no money in her divorce. She got nothing. She's nothing. She's going through all of her old gowns. And it's so Sonia Morgan if Sonia Morgan had like an ounce of class to her. Was that savage? Sorry. That's kind of what it feels like though. Like she has I can't explain it. There is an effortlessness to Martha. Like there's potential for chic. Whereas Sonia doesn't have that. Sonia is like, there's potential for Grey Gardens. Where Martha is like in Grey Gardens with the potential to get out. Where Sonia is always kind of like, it's always seeping in. Does that make sense? That's the vibe I get when we're comparing the two of them. But Martha and Margot start like screaming at each other because Margot's mad that she like hired this house painter who has the keys to her apartment that she found in the center of like Regent's Park. Like and she's like, I just trust people. Is it so bad that I trust people, but that's how I end up in places like this? And then she's like, I need someone who has more energy and less ADD than me to kind of write out this whole scene because it was a chef's kiss moment for me. I need someone to act it out. I need it to be acted out on Watch What Happens Live. I need to see it because this scene at the storage unit was great. But then we have Missy host this like winery event, which I have to agree. One of the women said this, but they're like, I didn't know there are wineries in the UK. Me neither. UK is not wine country. UK is rain country. UK is a pint and a whiskey country. That was good. That time the accent was good, right? But they go to wine country, and it takes everyone forever to get out there. So Mark literally rides in like the deluxe sprinter out and just comes right back, which I have to applaud his commitment to being on the reality show for that. But they go around to like get to know each other at the winery, and I really related to this. So they go around to get to know each other, be vulnerable. They're like, tell everyone something that they don't know about you.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Every single person tells one of the most depressing things I've ever heard. Not to downgrade what happened to these women. I mean, it is terrible. I mean, one of the women, Missy's brother, got shot. Like, there's crazy, crazy, terrible things that have gone on. But I am obsessed with Kimmy being like, oh, brother, I just came here to have a sip of wine and talk about some gossip about who's snogging who, not talking about whose brothers have died. It's harsh and it's mean, but I have to say I laughed. I connect with her on this a little bit. Like, I am a very open book. Very. Like, almost to a fault. Like, because sometimes I'll just say things that to me that just happened to me. It's not like it is trauma, but like I normalize it by just talking about it. But to others, they're like, I can't believe you just revealed that or said that. But it's just not that big of a deal to me. But what I don't care for is forced trauma dumping. Like, that is not always my vibe. Like, I have a friend that loves to play. There's this therapy game that I think New York Times made it, where it's essentially like it asks really deep questions and everyone has to go one by one and say it. Now, here's the thing. Like, I am down to have these conversations with my best friends, but like, I don't really care to do it when it's like forced upon me. Like, I don't want to be forced to reveal something incredibly personal. It just doesn't really do it for me. Like, I would rather that come out organically over our third bottle of Kimmy and I's third bottle of champagne in Chelsea one afternoon. Not at a winery where we're like all being like, and then this one thing happened to me when I moved to London. Like, I don't know. Shout out to these ladies for bearing all on TV. That is brave in itself. And these things that happen to them all are terrible. I just had to laugh with Kimmy, who was like, oh, brother. I keep putting an accent on her, but she actually doesn't. She's the one pretending to have an accent. So actually, maybe it is the perfect accent because my accent's terrible. And so is hers. But yeah, that's kind of episode 3. It ends on them heading home from the winery. And, you know, I just looked up that I said this at the top of the episode that allegedly there's only 6 episodes of this. I don't know if there maybe we get 8. Maybe they stretched it out because they saw how much of a banger it was. So we maybe get 8, but they're not. I don't think they're going to get a reunion. I think this is just like a super short reboot feeler to see if people really enjoy this season, and then they'll go in and bang out like a 12 episode or 14 episode season 2. So yeah, those are the first 3 episodes. I'm going to do a recap on the next episodes as they come because I am having a blast. New episodes, I believe, are out Fridays. So sometime over the weekend, next weekend, we'll have another one of these recaps. Oh, actually, no, it'll be early next week because I want to end on something really exciting. Friend of the pod, Donnie, it's his 40th birthday this month. And for his 40th birthday, all of your favorite podcasters in the what do you call this, that cinematic universe? It's a cinematic universe that Kix and I found ourselves in. But me, Donnie, Kendrick, Chelsea, and Amanda from It's All Happening. That was her podcast back in COVID. We are all going to a Airbnb, a big ass house with, I believe, 30 other people. And we're playing Big Brother this weekend. So hopefully I win. I probably won't. You know, when I played Big Brother on the I'm the Cute One Patreon I think it was a year ago now, because I think it was his last birthday. I was the first out, or the second out, because Nora put a threat on my head. I don't know why that was. And then, so I expected when I played Traders a couple months ago that it would go equally as bad. That went a little bit better. I was middle of the pack. I am nervous about Big Brother BB40, as Donnie's calling it. He's planned out so many games, and also there is a videographer that's filming the whole thing. So there's going to be content that you guys are going to get out of it. If you subscribe to I'm the Cute One Patreon, I think you can watch some of it play out, not in real time, but maybe a week after. But I'm nervous that people often think I'm the villain. I get villain first, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what that energy is. Maybe y'all can tell me. I am not villainous in life. Like, I am not a conniving person. I like to think of myself as a very generous person. I am a very happy person. There's something about me in new social settings, though. People always think I am villainous and or mean, because I think sometimes my biting humor can come across mean, when in reality it's just like, that's just me being, if I like you, I'm trying to banter with you. But I'm nervous that I'm going to get kicked out first. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But do go subscribe to I Am the Cute One, Donnie and Chelsea's podcast, to get all the scoop on what's happening this weekend. So, but yeah, Ladies of London episode 4 recap will come out sometime early next week. So keep an eye out for that. And we have a Summer House recap coming out later this week with a very, very special guest. And lots of new content coming y'all's way this month. There's some content that I have filmed for the Atlanta premiere already that'll be really exciting. And thank you guys for all your love and support. Make sure to follow me at @TheTomHamlet on Instagram and Threads. Follow the podcast at youtube.com/dumpsterdivepod for all the video formats. Also, I have a Patreon that I am not producing content on currently, but is an easy way to help support the show. There's a $1.99 tier, truly. It just helps me pay for the things that make the show happen. But do stay tuned over on the Patreon, because I will be updating the Patreon with some new content soon. So more details on that later. But thank you guys so much. Y'all, the show is growing right now in a really exciting way. I continue to be so surprised at y'all's love and support. It means the world to me. So tell your friends about Dumpster Dive. I'm having a good time over here. I hope you are too. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.